It began quietly, almost too quietly. A single phone call that no one expected, ringing just past midnight. The kind of call that changes everything. Sierra sat in the half-light of her living room, phone trembling in her hand, heart racing faster than her thoughts. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was unsteady yet deliberate, like someone walking barefoot across broken glass. According to those who later heard the recording, the first few seconds were pure silence. Then came a breath, and a sentence that would set the internet on fire. Sierra had seen something, messages, maybe even photos, that she could no longer ignore. Between Mendeecees and Selma, it wasn't idle gossip. It was heartbreak wrapped in hesitation. Her tone was the sound of truth trying to escape fear. By dawn, whispers had become wildfire. Rumors spread through timelines like smoke through a crowded room. Screenshots, theories, cropped photos, slowed down clips, everything became evidence. TikTok detectives replayed scenes. Blogs posted exclusive insights. And hashtags like #YandyWhy Heartbreak and #Selma Receipts began trending before sunrise. Yandy and Mendeecees, once the very definition of love and loyalty, suddenly vanished from their feeds. Comments turned off. Captions deleted. Stories wiped clean. Silence, the kind that speaks louder than any post. Meanwhile, Yandy, known for her grace, began posting quotes about trust, energy, and divine timing. Her followers noticed immediately. Is she talking about Mendeecees? Someone asked. This sounds like heartbreak. Another replied. Then came the image that changed the temperature of the internet. A group photo resurfaced from weeks earlier. Selma, standing just a little too close to Mendeecees, his arm almost around her waist. Her smile, too confident for coincidence. Zoomed in, analyzed, and reposted 1,000 times. But what really made people pause wasn't the photo. It was the tone of that late-night call. Those who heard it said Sierra's voice cracked when she said, "I didn't want to believe it, but I can and see it now." That line became a quote, a meme, a headline. Yandy had felt the shift long before the internet did. She'd seen the phone flipped face down. She'd heard the tone change when Selma's name came up. She felt the distance creep into their laughter. Then one of Yandy's friends reportedly received screenshots from an unknown number. Unverified, blurry, but sharp enough to wound. Messages between Mendeecees and Selma. Late-night conversations. Playful words that carried weight. No one could prove they were real. But in the court of public opinion, evidence is less about truth and more about timing. Imagine Yandy, sitting on the edge of the bed, the screen's glow lighting her face, reading, breathing, breaking, quietly. Still, she held her composure. At an event the next day, she smiled for photos, her hand resting gently on Mendeecees' shoulder. The fans saw it, that slight stiffness in her jaw, the way her eyes flicked away when he leaned in. Later, Mendeecees tried to reassure her. "People just want to see us fall," he said softly. To outsiders, it sounded comforting. To Yandy, it sounded rehearsed. Because that's what happens when trust cracks. Every word feels scripted. Across social media, battle lines formed. Team Yandy, Team Selma. Team Receipts. Comment sections turned into tribunals. Analysts on podcasts started decoding body language. Bloggers dug up old footage from love and hip-hop, searching for micro-expressions like archaeologists of emotion. But behind the noise was one truth: Sierra's call had detonated something no one could control. In one night, a friendship became a headline. A marriage became a debate. And silence, that strategic, polished silence, became the loudest statement of all. Fans described it as a calm before another storm. But those close to Yandy said it wasn't calm at all. It was heartbreak trying to hide behind discipline. And somewhere, far from the chaos, Sierra sat staring at her phone again, wondering if telling the truth had just cost her everything. The silence didn't last long. Behind every closed door, voices were raised, hearts were racing, and trust was quietly dying. The night after the rumors exploded, Yandy finally asked the question the entire world had already whispered online. "Is there something going on between you and Selma?" The room froze. The clock ticked louder than his answer. Mendeecees turned slowly, his face unreadable, his tone calm. "You really think I'd throw away everything we built?" But his pacing betrayed him. His eyes searched the room instead of her face. Those close to Yandy say she didn't respond right away. She just looked at him, the man she defended, the partner she built an empire with, and waited. And when she finally said the words, "Sierra called me," everything shifted. The air went heavy. His jaw tightened. Then, carefully, he asked, "What exactly did she tell you?" That one question was all Yandy needed to hear. Innocence doesn't ask what you know. It asks why you believe it. Guilt, however, always wants the details. From that moment forward, their love story turned into a quiet war, calm on the surface, chaos underneath. The following days played like a movie on mute. Public smiles, private storms. At a charity event, cameras caught Yandy walking ahead of Mendeecees, her hand no longer finding his. In interviews, her laughter sounded hollow, practiced. Their chemistry, once natural, now felt staged. Fans noticed. They always do. Then Selma resurfaced online with a post that made the internet stop scrolling. Not everyone can handle the truth. No names, no tags. No need. Everyone knew. Comments flooded in. Is this about Mendeecees? She's poking the bear. She's just being messy. Within hours, blogs reposted it. Podcasts broke it down. Analysts debated whether it was confidence or confession. And then came the leak. Screenshots. Private messages supposedly between Selma and Mendeecees. Inside jokes. Late-night replies. Unverified but believable. One even read, "Wish you were here. But you know we get caught." Whether real or fake didn't matter anymore. The court of public opinion had already decided its verdict. Mendeecees tried to regain control. He posted, "Don't let the internet ruin what you built." But instead of calming things, it ignited them. Comments poured in. Too late for that. Guilty energy. Where's Yandy? Meanwhile, Yandy's silence was turning into a symbol. Fans called her the picture of strength. But those close to her saw something else, exhaustion. She wasn't quiet because she was fine. She was quiet because she was finished explaining. A close friend later said she'd begun setting new boundaries. Separate appearances. Fewer photos. Fewer smiles. When asked how she was holding up, Yandy reportedly said, "I can't let this define me. I have to stay strong for myself and my kids." That line went viral, stitched into thousands of videos, quoted as gospel by women everywhere who'd lived through betrayal and kept their dignity. And then there was Sierra, the woman who started it all. Unwillingly, or maybe faithfully. She became both villain and hero depending on who you asked. Some accused her of chasing clout. Others said she saved Yandy from a deeper heartbreak. She posted once, quietly, "I told the truth because lies destroy more than honesty ever could." The internet exploded again. Reaction videos, side-by-side comparisons, evidence breakdowns, influencers pretending to analyze her tone. The chaos had a pulse now, and it was beating louder than ever. Weeks passed. The story grew legs, then wings. Every move Selma made became a headline. Every silence from Yandy became a statement. Every word Mendeecees said sounded like strategy instead of love. Behind the scenes, insiders claimed the couple had stopped sleeping in the same room. Mutual friends were divided, unsure whose version of events to believe. Even family members had started choosing sides. Selma continued to post cryptic mantras, "Protect your peace. Truth doesn't fear investigation. Growth hurts." To some, she looked unbothered. To others, she looked defiant. But either way, she stayed trending. Meanwhile, Yandy began to reclaim her calm in a quieter way, journaling, focusing on her children, working behind the scenes on new projects. One post read simply, "I'm healing in silence." And yet, that silence carried more weight than any press release could. Mendeecees, cornered by both media and memory, kept trying to explain himself. Friends said he'd repeat, "Nothing happened. It's all lies," over and over, as though repetition could rebuild what trust had already burned. But to the world, explanations sounded like excuses. Even his stillness looked guilty now. As the months went on, the scandal stopped feeling like a rumor and started feeling like a documentary, unfolding in real time. Every clip from past seasons of their show was rewatched, every look reinterpreted. Fans found symbolism everywhere. The way Yandy once said, "Trust is everything," in a 2019 reunion. The way Mendeecees once hesitated before saying, "I'll never hurt her." Suddenly, those words felt prophetic. Industry friends weighed in. "If you knew what really happened," one said cryptically, "you'd be shocked." That one line reignited the entire storm. By now, the world wasn't just watching. It was participating. Live streams dissected every update. Forums argued over authenticity. Threads debated who was the true victim. And through it all, Yandy's quiet strength became the heartbeat of the story. Her pain was real, but so was her control. She refused to fall apart publicly, even when everything private was breaking. One insider revealed she told a friend, "I can forgive a mistake. I can't forgive patterns." That sentence became legend. And as for Selma, she never publicly denied or confirmed anything. Her silence became strategy and mystery. She was seen once at an event, radiant, smiling faintly when reporters shouted Yandy's name. She didn't flinch, just kept walking. It was a kind of confidence that either means innocence or the comfort of being untouchable. By the time the dust settled, the internet had already chosen its narrative. For some, Mendeecees was a man unfairly targeted by rumor. For others, he was a husband who got too comfortable with temptation. But for most, Yandy stood at the center. A woman forced to carry grace in the middle of gossip and grief. And Sierra. She disappeared from the spotlight again, posting only one final quote before deleting her stories entirely. Sometimes the truth costs more than the lie ever did. The post lingered in people's minds long after it vanished. Because in the end, that's what this whole saga had become. A lesson about silence, loyalty, and the price of exposure. When the final headlines faded, what remained was the echo of one question. Was that late-night call a betrayal? Or an act of love that came too late? And as the camera fades out, only the audience is left to decide. Was Selma misunderstood? Was Mendeecees guilty? Was Yandy healing? Or just surviving? And was Sierra truly the villain, or the only one brave enough to pick up the phone? Whatever your answer, one truth stands. That call changed everything. And the silence that followed became the loudest story of all.